Right now, more than a year after being found guilty of killing his parents, 2 convictions are scrubbed from Chandler Halderson's record. We'll share why. But first, there's an alert day for tonight and tomorrow. Another round of thunderstorms on the way. Julian's here with what you need to know ahead of that severe weather. And a large police presence tonight evacuates a southwest side grocery store. What we know about an incident at the Pick and Save from earlier tonight. It's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Southern Wisconsin saw thunderstorms all throughout the day, and more are on the way overnight. A first warn alert day is in the forecast for tonight. Also for tomorrow, for those storms that are bringing more than just rain and lightning. Well, check out the video here behind me from I-3990 near Poynette in Columbia County. And that is not snow on the road, that's hail, and it was seen all over southern Wisconsin. News 3 Now viewers sharing what it looked like in their neighborhoods. This one from David Lubick of DeForest, using a penny and a dime for measurement to show just how big the hail was in his neighborhood. And let's check in with Julian C right now on the timing of this next round of storms. Julian?
Well, as of right now, Eric, we're going to be waiting for that timing to mainly be into the overnight going into our Thursday morning and again Thursday afternoon to Thursday evening. But let's get right into our severe weather threats of our first warn alert day. All of southern Wisconsin is going to be under this alert day for us. High winds, hail that could be some areas, large, and heavy rain and isolated tornado cannot be ruled out and are all on the table for any of these storms that could be developed, not just for the overnight hours, but again going into our afternoon and evening as well. So that's what we're going to be watching and keying in on. But as of right now, even on our weather patio, we're starting to get that small burst of some showers that just started to develop within over the last 30 minutes or so in parts of Dane County and parts of Greene and Rock County as well. We're not looking for that to really develop into anything more until we get into the overnight hours. Around 3 o'clock is when we're watching for the first wave of storms to start to sweep their way throughout southern Wisconsin, and they will be followed by some high winds, folks. So make sure that you have several ways to receive alerts overnight, because these are going to be nocturnal storms for the first round. A quick look at our local storm reports. We did have some large size hail, as you saw from the video earlier this afternoon, and we could experience that potentially going into tomorrow as well. We're under a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 for us to see severe weather in southern Wisconsin. But again, we're going to break down the timing and those threats in even more detail coming up in a few moments. Until then, back to you, Eric.
Julian, thank you. Fire investigators are working to see if a lightning strike started a house fire in Lodi this morning. Fortunately, no one was hurt. That fire was reported by the staff at the Wisconsin River Bank about a block away, where employees say they heard a loud noise and saw smoke coming from a home on Chestnut Street. By the time fire crews arrived, the western side of the house was fully engulfed in flames.
I don't even know what's going to happen now. It's like I'm 5 months pregnant. I have a 2-year-old. She's got a 10-month-old. I'm like, this is devastating.
Right now, there's no estimate on the damage, but the home has a large hole in the roof. Lodi Fire says 2 cats were killed in the fire, but a pet rabbit was rescued. New at 10, Madison police say someone called in a bomb threat to a grocery store on the city's southwest side earlier tonight. Fortunately, nothing was found. Officers arrived on scene shortly after 6 o'clock at the Pick and Save off Maple Grove Drive at McKee Road. On scene, we saw Madison officers along with UW police and Madison firefighters. They roped off the parking lot of the store, which was empty by the time our crews arrived. About 8:20 is when that store finally reopened. Right now, police aren't sharing if an arrest was made, but we will be sure to update you on anything on air and online as we do learn more. Charges have been filed against a 22-year-old man accused of causing a deadly crash in the village of Dane earlier this week. Maxwell Hamilton of rural Lodi is charged with first-degree reckless homicide and first-degree recklessly endangering safety. Now, according to the criminal complaint, he told deputies he deliberately ran a stop sign and said he didn't care if he caused a crash or if someone was hurt or killed. Authorities believe he was under the influence at the time of that crash. 52-year-old David Esser was killed Monday afternoon when Hamilton's truck sideswiped him after running a stop sign there at Military Road at West Main Street. Bond now set at $100,000 for Hamilton, who will be back in court next Wednesday. A year after being convicted of killing his parents, Chandler Halderson was once again in court. Today, 2 of those convictions were vacated. Arman Rahman is here to explain why and how this would affect his sentence. Arman?
Eric, the long and short of it is it doesn't change anything. He's still serving a life sentence for the 2021 murders of his parents. A Dane County judge says 2 of the 8 charges he was convicted for shouldn't have been included, but this actually keeps him from being forced to get a new trial or other possible relief. Chandler Halderson back in court, but for a reason experts say.
This is a little unusual.
According to Dane County Judge John Hyland, when Halderson was found guilty for the murder and dismemberment of his parents, Bart and Krista,
guilty of hiding a corpse,
he shouldn't have been convicted for 2 counts of hiding a corpse because it was a lesser charge for the 2 counts of mutilating a corpse.
There was this sort of conflict about the act of mutilating the corpse might have been the act of concealing the corpse.
Halderson is currently serving a life sentence with no possibility of parole after being convicted of first-degree intentional homicide.
The state didn't oppose. They said, look, there's a life sentence here either way. He's not getting out either way. The homicide convictions stand either way. Why don't we just take this issue away from the Court of Appeals and resolve it now?
According to Nicholson, a defense attorney not affiliated with the case, it's understandable that the lesser included charges were not caught sooner.
It wasn't the charge that was going to carry the weight of the prison time. So I think that despite all conscientious efforts by counsel, it was something that just wasn't a major factor in prep.
Nicholson says it doesn't hurt Halderson's chances for appeal, but those would be a long shot.
Can Mr. Halverson continue to attempt to seek relief? Sure. That's him writing letters in the wind. So everyone can expect whatever noise is made from this defendant in post-conviction, it's going to be exactly that noise.
Nicholson says Halderson's attorney, Michael Covey, signing a no-merit report, which basically means he's reviewed everything and believes there's nothing more to do, is another sign that any appeal of Halderson's would not be successful.
Armand, thank you. A reminder, if you have the Channel 3000 mobile app, make sure your push notifications are turned on. We let you know about those 2 vacated convictions with a push alert. You can download it for free wherever you get your mobile apps. The Dane County Jail Consolidation Project, one step closer to reality. This morning, the county board's Black Caucus struck a deal with Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett on the project. That deal allows the caucus to vote on funding the project, which is a milestone after years of debate on whether to close the current facility and move inmates into a new 6-story building. It's estimated the new facility will cost $179 million, $13.5 million more than originally budgeted. The full county board will vote on approval tomorrow. A Madison woman was sent to the hospital with serious injuries after a stolen car crashed into her on Mineral Point Road over the weekend. Happened Saturday at 2:30 on Mineral Point Road at D'Onofrio Drive on the west side. Officers say 2 people inside that car fled the scene. They say a stolen gun was recovered. No arrests have been made as police continue their investigation. They'd like any witnesses to come forward. If you have any information, you're asked to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers. That number at the bottom of your screen, it's area code 608-266-6014. A bill that would crack down on reckless drivers in Wisconsin is heading to the governor's desk. The Wisconsin Senate approving a bipartisan bill which would increase reckless driving penalties. The maximum forfeiture for a first offense would increase to $400. Subsequent offenses would raise to a $1,000 fine. For reckless drivers in crashes that cause bodily harm, the fine becomes $4,000, and drivers who cause great bodily harm would face a 6-year prison sentence, up from the current max of 3.5 years. Here's a good reminder on why you should give emergency vehicles space when passing. The Iowa State Patrol sharing this close call between a driver and a trooper happened in Coralville, that's northwest of Iowa City. The trooper speaking with a driver that is pulled over when another driver hits the stopped car. Luckily, no one was hurt. There's a major new development in the deadly mass shooting from a small Alabama town over the weekend. Authorities announced the arrests of 2 teenage brothers from Tuskegee after a shooting last weekend left 4 young people dead. It happened at a 16th birthday party. More than 30 others were injured during that party, which was held at a dance studio. Right now, a motive is unclear, as the birthday girl, whose brother was one of the 4 people killed, says she doesn't know the suspects.
And I didn't even recognize, I don't even know anybody from Tuskegee. So when they said the boy's name, I still didn't, recognize them.
A third arrest was also announced earlier tonight in connection with that ongoing investigation. The 84-year-old Kansas City man accused of shooting Ralph Yarl, a teenager who rang his doorbell, is pleading not guilty to 2 felony charges. Andrew Lester has been charged with first-degree assault and first-degree armed criminal action. Yarl was picking up his siblings in a North Kansas City neighborhood last Thursday when he mistakenly went to the wrong address. Lester told police he fired at Yarl through a locked glass front door, saying the teen's size scared him, and he believed Yarl was breaking in. Jarl was hospitalized but has survived and is now recovering at home. Lester posted bond after turning himself in yesterday. He's due back in court June 1st. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. throwing his hat into the ring for president. A member of one of the nation's most prominent political families, Kennedy is challenging for the Democratic nomination. Kennedy, the nephew of President John F. Kennedy and the son of the late Senator Robert F. Kennedy, once known for his work as an environmental lawyer. In recent years, he's become an outspoken anti-vaccine activist.
My mission over the next 18 months of this campaign and throughout my presidency will be to end the corrupt merger of state and corporate power.
President Biden has repeatedly said he intends to run for re-election, but has not officially made an announcement. More local stories are just ahead. 2 cities, 2 closed grocery stores. The lessons Janesville wants to take from Madison to prevent an area from becoming a food desert. That story's next at 10.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend only at the arena at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only at the arena at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
It's spring, and Slumberland Furniture is celebrating with 20% off our low prices on gorgeous new furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Plus extra discounts on sofas, bar stools, accessories, and Slumbercrest mattresses. Right now, get this Ashley sofa for just $3.99 in your choice of 2 colors. Incredible! Did you know Slumberland has the lowest prices on Ashley product? And get an extra 20% off mattresses too.
Hit the ground running in the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet. Like the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport, or the Ridgeline, made more rugged with better off-road performance, and more capable with different driving modes available to conquer snow, mud, and sand. Adventure on in the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend only at the arena at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only at the arena at the Alliant Energy Center in Madison.
It's a monumental day as we welcome our Vice President, Kamala Harris. And we have a little fun.
Y'all see this? I am official! We did it, Jen!
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Tonight, a community is showing support to an Oconomowoc officer and his family after their 3-year-old child died over the weekend. Jefferson County deputies aren't saying what happened since the incident occurred on private property in Ixonia. State Representative Barbara Dietrich, who represents Oconomowoc, spoke about the tragedy and Officer Adam Germanis.
Being a mom myself, I was just really heartbroken to hear it. And Officer Germanis is one of those people who always has a smile on his face. You know, people in the community love him, and you know, just he's one of those few people no one has a bad word to say about him.
A GoFundMe page has already raised more than $41,000 to help the family cover funeral and memorial costs. The family is thankful for the generosity and support from the community, but is asking for privacy at this time. If you'd like to donate, we've linked to it online. Just look for the story at channel3000.com. Microsoft says it'll buy a $50 million piece of land in Racine County, originally meant for Foxconn. Plans are in the works for a $1 billion data center in Mount Pleasant. Foxconn has a manufacturing facility there and announced plans back in 2017 to build a $10 billion facility that would create thousands of jobs. However, it has failed to live up to those promises, adding fewer than 800 jobs by the end of 2021. It'll be a long time, though, before Microsoft is up and running there. The first phase of construction has to begin by July of 2026, the second phase by July of 2033. The south sides of Janesville and Madison have almost identical stories in both neighborhoods. The lone grocery store announced it's closing, leaving the area in a food desert. In Madison, city leaders struck a deal to keep a grocery store on the south side. Now, some in Janesville are hoping their city could do the same. Braden Ross joins us to explain. Braden?
Yeah, Janesville and Madison leaders held a forum tonight to talk about how Madison avoided a food desert on its south side and what Janesville could learn from its strategy.
We are not going to lay low and let this happen and be another forgotten part of the city.
A new report from the Rock County Public Health Department with a concerning conclusion. It's hard to access healthy food, especially for lower income residents. Its #1 recommendation to fix it, more grocery stores, specifically on Janesville's south side.
It tends to be a little irritating when I can't just run down the street. Our options are very limited.
Right now, the north side of Janesville has 7 full-service grocery stores. Since Pick and Save closed in 2017, the south side only has 1.
At the end of the day, I'm still being told that we don't have a business that's willing to set up shop here.
It's an issue some in Janesville are hoping to solve using a model learned from Madison, city investment.
If the private sector could do it, they would. Somebody would do it and make a profit, and that would be much simpler. The city doesn't make a profit, but we have a policy goal. In this case, not having a food desert in South Madison.
In 2019, South Madison's Pick and Save announced they'd be closing, leaving the neighborhood without a full-service grocery store. So the city made a deal with local grocer Mauer's. They'll help build a store in the area if Mauer's commits to running it.
At this point, we're in for about $9.5 million. But it got done.
But some aren't convinced the same strategy will work in such a different community.
In Janesville, we've really kind of taken almost a laissez-faire approach, allowing the development community to drive things.
Now, in order to make a similar deal in Janesville, the city council would have to be on board.
Braden, thank you. Some residents in Juneau County have been given bottled water after concerns that last week's wildfire may have contaminated the groundwater there. A roughly 90-acre wildfire burned last Wednesday. This was near Necedah, and among the areas where it was affected was a former junkyard that potentially contained hazardous waste. Once the tests from soil and drinking water samples come back, they will let affected residents know the next step. The DNR says the fire was sparked by welding, grinding, torching, or cutting equipment. Major flooding expected in the days to come as spring snowfall melts and mixes in with recent heavy rainfall. In western Wisconsin, the town of Fountain City is preparing for possible flooding along the Mississippi River. State Highway 35, which runs through the town, could be covered by the weekend, so residents there are taking precautions by sandbagging the spots along the river most susceptible to flooding. A state of emergency has been declared by Governor Evers, which allows the Wisconsin National Guard to help out with flood-related incidents. So, Julian, sounds like Wisconsin River also a concern with flooding in the days to come.
Absolutely. Even today, they were having some issues earlier this afternoon, and with more rounds of storms coming in from tonight and tomorrow, it's going to be another thing we're going to be keying in on, which is also another reason why we have an alert day in the forecast. Getting straight to it. We have alert day from tonight going into tomorrow, and the reason why, folks, is because we're going to be watching for these storms to really start to develop overnight that could be bringing in just severe category for us throughout much of southern Wisconsin. Now, getting right into what we're going to be expecting for us, well, we are going to be looking at the storms to be producing not only hail and heavy rainfall, but we could potentially also see some of those thunderstorms to be producing high winds as well. And on top of it, an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. But this is what we're seeing as of of right now on our radar. We do have a couple of isolated storms that are starting to move just southeast of Madison as we're continuing throughout the rest of tonight. Now, as the night continues to develop, we are going to be watching for the storms to really start to push their way through, coming in from the southwest and spread throughout the rest of southern Wisconsin. Now, over our local storm reports that we saw over the last 24 hours, we did see some large hail reports throughout much of southern Wisconsin, even parts of Dane County and around Madison, areas to the north, the southwest, and over towards the northeast, just outside of Dodge County. Now, we are looking for that to be possible once again as we get into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Now, what we're watching for, again, we're just a level 1 out of 5 for us to see severe weather for tomorrow, but that's also what would happen for today. We did have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings that had went out earlier throughout our Wednesday. Now, going into Thursday, still one thing to be watching for. But since these storms can happen overnight, they're mainly going to be nocturnal. Make sure that you have multiple ways to receive any kind of alerts, and make sure that you have your phone, even though it may be annoying, on not on silent or vibrate mode when you go to bed, just in case you don't miss any kind of life-threatening type of alert overnight. Now, again, high winds, large hail, which is even expanded even more so to our friends further north, and then a tornado is also possible from any of these storms that could develop not just overnights but going into tomorrow. So let's talk about the timing. Around midnight, we could see a couple isolated cells that will start to develop, but those don't look to be the big bonanza for us. What's happening around 3 a.m. is what we're going to be watching for as the band of squall lines starts to develop over towards the western side of southern Wisconsin and will start to trickle in rather fast throughout much of the area. See, over just 2 hours, the storms themselves start to join and then fall apart once we get into around the 5 o'clock hour and move even to the northern parts of southern Wisconsin, which would be like Columbia County and closer towards the outskirts of Adams and Juneau County. Now, as we get to around 7 o'clock, that's going to be mainly our downtime. As we get into the later parts of our morning from 9 to 10, we're looking at another round. And you can see a bit of that Boeing signature that comes in with these storms. That's a key signature that we're going to be seeing very high winds with these storms that are also going to be moving very fast throughout southern Wisconsin, which could be leading again for some straight line wind damage throughout much of the area. Throughout our Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, we're still going to be watching for those storms to start to develop. But the good news is the earlier that these storms happen, the less likely we're going to see these storms happen later on into our evening hours. We are looking for another abundance of rainfall throughout southern Wisconsin, close to 1 inch for most areas. And that's another reason why we have flooding issues or even concerns going into tomorrow. So it's one thing to be mindful of. A quick look at our 10-day forecast. Starting in for tomorrow, our temperatures will peak once we get into our Thursday night. And then for the rest of the week, a little bit cooler as we head into our Friday. But then for the weekend, 40s are in the forecast for us. May see some showers for Earth Day. And then next week, back to the 50s.
And coming up in sports, the Bucks put a beat down on the Heat without their two-time MVP. How this one was over in the first half. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Dear Exit Strategy, all your pieces are in place. Thanks for being there when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs. Toyota, let's go places.
Join the Circle of Life at the Lion King. Experience the world's #1 musical. Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Coming to Overture Center May 11th through 28th. Tickets on sale now at overture.org.
Are record high energy and water costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With inflation rising at record levels and incomes not keeping pace, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive. While you may not ask for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to be without heat, water, or power. For a hand up, apply today and call 800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.heat.help.
Looks like they finally got rid of that trip hazard. They pump it full of mud?
It ain't mud, Jack.
Where are the patched holes? Where's the splashed mud?
It ain't mud, Jack.
Concrete lifting technologies can quickly raise and level any concrete surface using cutting-edge foam technology made in Wisconsin. Fast and accurate and eco-friendly.
How did those guys do it? Where are the holes? Where's the mud?
It ain't mud, Jack.
.com. Arby's, 2 for $7. Every day, a classic, a favorite, an Arby's legend. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
Dear Exit Strategy, all your pieces are in place. Thanks for being there when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs. Toyota. Let's go places.
A couple hours after he was upgraded to questionable, Giannis was officially ruled out for Milwaukee's Game 2 against Miami, and it was kind of a must-win because down 0-2 in the playoffs isn't a spot where you want to be. But honestly, the Bucks didn't need their MVP in this one. Bucks 11-8 this season without Giannis in the lineup, and this one was all deer from the start. First quarter, Drew Holiday rattles home the jumper to put Milwaukee up 10. Holiday finished with 24 points and 10 dimes. Then in the second, the Bucks blew it wide open. Pat Connaughton dials one up from deep, part of a 24-2 run, and it was all over from there. Bucks even the series with a 138-122 win. Game 3 is Saturday in Miami. On April 5th, Noah Reynolds committed to Wisconsin. 2 weeks later, the Wyoming transfer decommitted from Wisconsin, saying, quote, "I have decided that it is no longer in my best interest to attend the University of Wisconsin-Madison." Reynolds averaged 14.5 points per game last season with the Cowboys. Coming out of high school, C.J. Williams was one of the most highly touted receivers in the country. The 4-star wideout ended up going to USC, but after catching just 4 passes as a freshman, he entered the transfer portal. And on January 12th, he chose to come to Wisconsin. And since stepping foot in Madison, he's made his presence felt. And when asked to describe Williams, his teammates use words like talented and fiery, 2 traits that will excel in Phil Longo's offense.
Fire I bring into football is just the love I have for it. And I think coming out here, I came out here with a chip on my shoulder, as a lot of people did. A lot of these transfers did, and a lot of guys that came back did. You know, new coach staff, all these different things. The ultimate goal is to win football games, to get yards, score touchdowns, and that's what I'm going to do.
I love guys that are feisty. I love guys that want to go and they want to get after. They want to be physical, but guys that can, kind of get to that edge but still control themselves, control their emotions.
What a West Coast trip it's been for the Brewers. They've won 6 of 9, including 3 of 4 from the Padres. And after an extra inning win last night, the crew looking to close out the 10-day road trip with a sweep. Series finale between the Brewers and the Mariners, and the crew spotted the home team 2 runs, and then they went to work in the 7th. Bryce Terang goes gapping for a 2 RBI double. And then Rowdy Tellez would get into the ribby game. He smacks one back up the middle. Brewers scored 5 in the inning and get the sweep, 5-3, the final. We're back after this.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Shopko Optical welcomes more insurance plans than ever. Call to book an exam and verify coverage.
At Weedman Lawn Care, we believe that a lush, beautiful lawn should be enjoyed by the whole family. That's why we offer a kid and pet-friendly program to create a healthier, greener, weed-free lawn that your whole family can enjoy. Our program includes effective applications of targeted weed control and slow-release golf course quality fertilizer to achieve real results. Call or click today for your free quote, or sign up now and see the Weedman difference. Doesn't your family deserve a Weedman lawn?
This is how legends are made.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD.
Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads.
It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing. 2023 Silverado 100 pickups, or current Chevy owners get $3,750 total cash allowance on all 2023 Silverado pickups with a turbo high-output engine.
Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
When an appliance you rely on goes kaput, you can count on family-owned Brothers Maine, Southern Wisconsin's local appliance authority since 1938. With thousands of in-stock options, we have the brands you want at the lowest prices guaranteed. Even big box can't beat our prices. Our experienced team of appliance experts will help you make the right selection, and we deliver it fast and free to your home. What you need when you need it. Shop appliances you can bring home today at our Madison and Janesville showrooms. Feel like family. Brothers Maine.
I just got the new Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra from US Cellular. With the most powerful processor yet, it can game smoother than ever. With nightography, it can take selfies in low light. Click. And with a longer battery life and US Cellular's 5G network, it can stream my favorite shows around the clock.
Amazing. Can it go back in the bag?
Yeah, it can go back into the bag.
Okay. Did you just kiss the phone?
Get the Samsung Galaxy S23 free. No trade-in needed from US Cellular.
I kissed it?
Yes.
Is helping you, making sure your neighbor is taken care of. At Lake Ridge Bank, community is who we are. We take pride in being a community bank, strengthening relationships and investing in the places we come from. It's why we are who we are. Lake Ridge Bank. Go far, go together.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Schedule your comprehensive eye exam at shopko.com or bring in your outside prescription.
Addressing the trauma of school shooter drills, Thursday at 6.
Let's go to Julian. Final check.
We have the alert day in the forecast. It will be from tonight's going into our Thursday evening. We're expecting some nocturnal storms to start around 3 o'clock this Thursday morning. So make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts and that you don't get caught when you're sleeping overnight. Other than that, we're looking at smooth sailing into the weekend.
All right, join the morning crew. They'll have the latest on what's happening with the weather as well. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10. Happy birthday, Charlotte, by the way. She's not with us tonight, but have a good one.